This message is for my fellow artists out there who have been dedicated to their path, dedicated to their craft for years, and they've been putting their heart into it, and they haven't been able to get the exposure that they feel they deserve. So many years back, I've heard stories about people who have signed bad record deals. And I used to think to myself, how can these people who sign record deals for millions of dollars go broke? How can these people who have these viral songs and who have a lot of clout and a lot of influence over all these other people basically be stuck into this record deal as if they're an employee and they're just working and they have to do whatever these record label people say? And I used to think like, well, if I got everything that I ever wanted and I was to sign a record deal for millions of dollars, but I was still feeling like an employee, or I was still feeling like I didn't have the freedom to do whatever I want and go wherever I go, did I really make it? Is that really the life that I want to live? Is that really what I'm aiming for? So from that point forward, I started to change my perspective towards, or from being an artist or a rapper to being a business person. And I started to realize that the most successful people that are going to maintain that level of wealth are the people that are paying attention to the business aspect of things. You look at Jay-Z, you look at 50 Cent, you look at who else is a rapper artist. Somebody just came into my mind, but I forgot him. But you guys get the gist of what I'm talking about. So I kept that in the back of my mind. Years later, this was years ago. Now fast forward a couple years into the future, I start going a little deeper into the business side of things, learning about how people sell products on a website that they ship in from China and they never have to touch the product, and this is called drop shipping. I will learn about these different models that teenage kids were using to make tens of thousands of dollars a month. And I'm like, this is pretty interesting, because even for the artists out there that have millions of fans or millions of followers, a lot of these people sometimes are not even making that type of money, or they may have made that a lot of money at once, but it was a loan from their record label, and they have to actually pay that back. And then once they do pay that back, they're still stuck in a deal where they're only receiving a certain amount of their money. So I started to think about this and contemplate this, because you don't want to, like J. Cole said, you don't want to realize that you've lived out your dreams, you made it to your destination, to realize that you went the wrong way. So I was like, okay, every step from here, I want to make sure I'm going in the right direction, because when I get to my destination, I want to make sure it's the right one. So as I'm learning about these different ways that people are branding and marketing, and even when I started getting into selling digital products, and I'm learning about competitive research analysis, and I'm learning about market research and keywords, SEO, all of these different things, I'm starting to realize that there are different, and even from releasing my first product and seeing success with that, I realized that the difference between me knowing what to sell was that little piece of knowledge that I gained was the difference between me selling products and, me selling nothing. And I feel like whenever it comes to selling anything, whenever you are selling something now, you are technically, or I guess not technically, but in a way you are doing business. Business is being done. You may not be an official registered business, but you are being a businessman whenever you are selling a product to someone or an audience or whatever. So when you are building a fan base as a music artist or as any type of artist, you are conducting business. So to not understand that business and to not not spend time developing certain skills that it takes to be able to, one, replicate success multiple times instead of getting lucky, and then two, manage the business side of things to where you don't become overwhelmed and you can actually master it and be the master of that world, rather than have it own you and you be the slave to that world. And I know a lot of people have this thing where you just only want to be an artist. You just only want to be, you only want to focus on your craft. And I felt like, yeah, that's cool. That probably was cool 5 years ago. That sounded cool, but the world that we live in, things are constantly evolving. There's technology that is being released into the market every day to where Look at all these people that could just use someone else's voice and they can make a viral song from someone else's voice with AI technology. So this is you're competing with robots, you're competing with advanced technology. You're competing with people that have a lot of money. They could write, they could have ghostwriters and all of that. It's a whole bunch of different stuff that you're competing with, to the point where, and anybody can make a good song, anybody can make good art, especially with like the AI. And yeah, I know it's different types of art, whatever, but my point is that you have to do things that are going to make you stand out, and also that are going to make you valuable to different marketplaces. And what I mean by that, if I give you an example, like me learning how to do certain skills to sell digital products on Etsy, and learn how to work different softwares and programs, and learn how to just make a product, package it, just run the ads, and just learn how to do SEO, which is search engine optimization, and learn how to use certain keywords to be able to get into the algorithm and put my product in front of the right person's face. These are skills that once you learn them and you evolve them as the time goes on, and what I mean by that is everything is constantly evolving. So if you aren't evolving, you're being left behind. So you have to have the skills that you have, constantly refine them and constantly evolve them, so that way you can stay up to date with everything that's going on, because things are changing. The way that things are right now, next month it may not even be like that. So if you are an artist, you have to understand the skills that are right for you, or the skills that, it's a combination of the skills that are closely to the ones that you already have, and the skills that are going to pay the most and be the most valuable. You want to develop these skills. You want to understand what those are, and then learn how to make money on a smaller level. Because let me tell you guys something. If you think that you're about to just hop into the music industry, or hop into, and I'm going to use this as an example because this is a very popular thing. It takes a cool amount of time. It takes a long time to be able to start making a decent amount of money off of music compared to other ways. And in my experience, it's easier. Like let me put this, let me say, for example, if you get 1 million views on different streaming platforms, or if you get, say if you have a million collective views on all of your different streaming platforms or distribution platforms, this will equal roughly to about $2,500. And that'll be great because you're making that off of something that you love. But when it comes to selling a product, you don't have to reach 1 million people to be able to make $2,500. And reaching 1 million people is way more difficult than reaching 2,000 people, or even less than 1,000 people. You can make $2,500 off of 50 people. Off of, depending on whatever your product costs, it's not going to be 1 million. So when you take just it's an easier sell. It's a more effective business model of selling a product, especially if it's a digital product, which music is a digital product, but you're not always selling something. Because let's keep it above, like, people not really buying music like how they were back in the days. They don't really need to buy your music. If you have a fan base that supports you, they will, and they'll buy certain things, but like that takes a certain amount of time to be able to do that. If you are lucky to where you can just blow up overnight, that's cool, but that's not going to be most people. But what most people can do is learn the skills that I talked about to be able to add value to people that don't even know you, to people that you don't even have to show your face, people that, you just gave them value. You made their life easier because you created something that just saved them a whole bunch of time. But once you do learn these skills, one, nobody can take them away from you, and then you can apply this to your art. And then also, you can use the money that you're making from these other different sources of income, like, maybe selling digital products, or maybe you learn how to run ads efficiently, or maybe you're into interior design. You can use these skills to then generate money to invest into your career or your art. But now you're coming at it from a different perspective because you're understanding the underlying business of it. And this mindset, if you're coming at it from this mindset, you're going to be way more ahead than everyone else who's just looking at it from an artist standpoint, because now you're just taking a chance, taking a gamble, unless your product is really that good. But even when it is that good, it doesn't matter. Like, it'll be a cap. I know some really good artists out there, and you could have buzz in your city. You could get thousands of views, tens of thousands of views, even hundreds of thousands of views. Doesn't matter. You'll be cool. Like, you'll be able to, like, that'll be cool. But imagine if you have money that you're making passively and you got the hundreds of thousands of views, and you know how to navigate throughout the business to where you can be able to make the most amount of money from those listeners, and you can be able to add the most value to them and supply the most to them that is authentic to your brand. So yeah, man, that's the message towards artists. Like, this is a message that I had to learn the hard, well, I'm not gonna say the hard way, because I still found my own path throughout, all of this. But I just feel like I just wanted to come on here and share this with you guys, because I know that there's some artists right now that just don't know their next move. You just don't know where to go next, and skills pay the bills. Let me know what you guys think.